Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I recently sent a video with options for downward facing dog. Most of them included modifications that you might do with your hands and your feet on the ground or your hands and feet on blocks. And so I wanted to offer this video as an option for those of you who maybe want to do downward facing dog at the wall or perhaps use a chair. So for this version today, I want you to focus on your shoulders, meaning whatever option you find with the height of your shoulders and your hand placement on the wall. I want you to take the hamstring stretch and the calf stretch out of it as much as you can by bending your knees. So with that in mind, let's go ahead, come to standing. I know you can't see my face right now. That's okay. You don't need to see it. So the idea of downward facing dog for our purposes today is to work on opening up the shoulders. So if you stand against the wall, I want your feet to be farther away from the wall than you would for our plank pose at the wall. My spine is still nice and straight right now. My feet are planted. If you feel it in your calves right now, you can maybe lock the feet in a little bit or come up onto the balls of your feet and bend your knees. I just want you to get the height of your shoulders set. So to start off, make sure your shoulders are the same height as your wrists and also the same width. So palms are the same width as your shoulders. Once you have that, start to walk your feet back a little bit. Try not to round a whole lot through your spine. You might start to feel this in the knees, so then you can start to bend your knees a little bit. You might feel the stretch in your hamstring, sorry, so you can bend your knees. Once you have that, I want you to press into the wall and start to find a straight line from your wrist to your hip. So right now I have a little bit of like a 7 shape from my wrist to my shoulder and my shoulder to my hip. If I press my hips back and my knees are still bent, I press my hips back. I now have this straight line from my shoulders to my hips, and I'm stretching out the chest. I'm opening up the chest and I'm working my shoulders. You might stay right here. This might be your downward facing dog. Remember, we're thinking about our shoulders and our chest. If this is not a stretch in your hamstrings or your calves, straighten out the legs. Just an option. If the legs are straight, keep that spine straight, maybe just a little tuck in that tailbone, little tiny tuck, and then keep pressing your hands into the wall, maybe even lower the chest down. So this might be a big stretch. See how that feels. You might feel it in the triceps, the chest, the shoulders. Good. To come out of it, rebend the knees a little bit, lift the chest, start to walk the feet forward. Good. Relax. Take a little rest. So that's one option for downward facing dog. And like I said, focusing on your chest, focusing on the shoulders. You can also do downward facing dog with a chair. So we're still not quite all the way on the ground with our feet and our hands. And it's that same idea, planting the hands, maybe walking the feet back a little bit further. Again, bend your knees if you need to. Start to push the hips back to get that straight line from your wrist to your hip. If you get this far and it feels like you can straighten the legs, try to straighten out the legs, lift the hips a little bit. Good, maybe lower the chest down. Keep pressing through the palms, keep lifting through the hips. Good. To come out, rebend the knees, lift the chest, bring the body forward, start to walk towards that chair. Come all the way up to standing. Good. So I hope that helped. I hope that gave you a couple of other options if downward facing dog on the floor is not a great position for you. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you on your mat soon.